You know what, gang? I've been absolutely marred with nose-related issues today. I've had, I drove in mostly one-handed because I had a nosebleed for the vast majority of the way. I've had hay fever all day, and then every now and again I blow my nose, and then more fucking blood comes out. But I'm not really having a nosebleed. I'm just like blowing out basically like bloody snot, which is great. It's been an all-round hoot, to be honest with you. So there's that. Otherwise though, it's been an alright day today, to be honest with you. I've been kind of dodging stuff. Dodging work and stuff. Lol. What did I do? I don't actually know what I did today, which isn't a good sign. But I'm seeing this problem, which is like second time I've seen this problem at a different company, is a company that's using kanban fall down because they want estimates. They want to know roughly how long projects are going to take. And it's like, it's such a pain in the ass because they want like waterfall level estimates of like, we want it in this amount of weeks or days. And we're like, we don't know enough information. And I'm like, how do you square that circle? How do you get decent enough estimates? How do you because Kanban, effectively, there isn't really estimates. Like, you can just you pick them and refine it and whatnot, but at the end of the day, you just do what's at the top of the list and it gets done when it gets done. Sprints are a little bit different because you have an idea of size and you pick what's going into your sprint goal, and then you can get a velocity for the amount of points that you can typically do in a sprint. But what's the equivalent of that for Kanban? And like I say, the company I currently work for, my previous company, both of them went to Kanban and then got stuck at but we need estimates. We need estimates so that we know how long projects are supposed to take. And it's totally reasonable. I can totally understand why the business would want to know roughly when something is going to happen. But that's just not, I don't see, that just seems so incompatible with Kanban. Unless the whole company shifts to, we'll just give you a list of things we want done, get them done. And then we just work as fast as we can, kind of a mentality. But I can kind of understand how you can get there with sprints, with high-level estimations and refinements. You can get velocities and that kind of stuff. But it's an interesting predicament because it's something that we're going through at the moment, and I'm trying not to input too much because I'm not going to be around. You know, I'm trying to let people lead their own path. And then being stepping in when people start to argue. Just like, hey guys, I reckon this. Or when I visibly see we're going off track, we started to raise tickets for something we've already raised tickets for. It's an interesting problem. I'm gonna have to read up a bit more about it. But otherwise, I'm home. Did quite a lot of, I finished my pull request, dickhead. Function. I just hit my chair and it hurt my finger. I finished my pull Azure function changes that I needed to get that working, raised a PR for it, and now I'm looking at trying to make sure that I know how to do aggregate functions in Mongo. I'm going to try and do it directly in the portal, and then I'm going to convert that into the C# stuff. That's my plan of attack, because I can't figure out how to do it from C#, because I think what I've got in C# should work, but it's not working. Mongo is definitely one of those things, to be honest with you, Mongo is one of those things that I want to learn. I want to get better at. I'm not very good at querying it to get the data out that I want. It's really easy to manually find that data, but it's really difficult to run queries to generate that data for you. And to be honest with you, that's true for most database languages like SQL and Mongo. I'm not that good at writing queries because I very rarely have to. I get the code to do it for me usually. But yeah, that's one thing I do need to get better at, and I'll hold my hand up to that. I was just talking to the camera and it just froze on me. It's a couple of times it's happened in there, where it's kind of froze. Normally on playback, but that was bizarre. What I was saying was, I have figured out my Mongo issues. That's sorted, and I've realised that I haven't figured out my Azure function issues. The reason being that the way that Azure Functions assumes that the message is encoded isn't correct, because the message I'm being sent is in ASCII and can't be converted to Unicode with UTF-8 encoding, which is how it's doing it, which is a pain in the goddamn ass. but it's solvable. It's a solvable problem. It just means I've got to handwrite my own decoding, which is a pain in the ass, but that's life, isn't it? That's what life's all about these days. I am so very late today, ladies and gentlemen. God damn, I don't even know why. It was a normal day, and then I looked at the clock and it's like 1:45 and I'm supposed to leave at 1:30. So it's going well. I don't have any meetings to look forward to today, and I'm not even kidding about that. I genuinely live for meetings these days. There's one meeting going on, but people on notice period don't have to go, which I think is a snide way of saying don't come. Reminder, when I'm successful enough to hire people, remind me not to give them a 3-month notice period, because it's ridiculous. It's too long. I've checked out already, man. I'm not adding any value anymore. God damn. But yeah, it's spent a lot of time today reading up on how to balance estimates across different versions of Agile software development. I did a load of reading. To be fair, I did do something. I changed our something to be inclusive of tax, like post-tax, not pre-tax, and that was fun. I just had so little work to do, it's unreal. And I can't get this thing working either, which is the thing I need to get working in order to really do any work on the next project. And I don't think it's not gonna happen, man. It's just not gonna goddamn happen. I'm no good at doing VMs. I'm just shit at it. I never get them working. They never work out for me. It's a sad time to be alive. But I did get some stuff done on my laptop. I also have, so what I've got now is, I've changed the method of decoding messages to be, in theory, the right encoding. So I can support the encoding that I'm receiving from the service bus. It's very annoying that they don't just do it in a standard message bus, but hey ho, I'm just chatting shit, mate. Just stop. Why don't you figure out what you gotta say before you start talking? Fix my problem, ladies and gentlemen. The problem is fixed by when you create a service hook in Azure DevOps. There's a little button you can click, a little toggle that you can do that says skip serialization. And if that isn't ticked, then .NET client deserializers would pick it up. But if it is clicked, then anything can pick it up because it's not being serialized funny. And that's what the problem is. Effectively, just above where my .NET code runs in my function is probably a little bit of Node. And that's what was throwing the exception. And that's why I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on there. I put a question on Stack Overflow. I've left the question on Stack Overflow because technically I haven't fixed the problem. I don't know how to fix this in a scenario where I can't just set this toggle. But it's one of them things where you spend more or less 2 days working on something and it's all solved by one line that sets a single flag to true. We had a day of meetings today. It was an absolute hoot. Went in the rain as well. It was a weird day where it's been like hammering it down with rain and then sunny, hammering it down with rain, sunny. It's been an odd day, but we've been upstairs. I know all of that because we was upstairs in the office, and that's where the thin roof is, so you can hear all the rain pelting down. It's almost like, you know, so most of the time it was like if you're listening to rain and you're in a tent and it's just like pattering away. But then sometimes it was just torrential and you could barely hear each other talk. But we were doing refinements today, trying to figure out how to get this next project done in the time frame that they want it done in. And it's going to be complicated. And it's also a project that I add very little value in this world. They might even have to give me a new computer just to let me even develop stuff for it. So that'll be fun. If they think that that's worth their while, I'm not sure. Could try and dual boot Ubuntu or something on it instead. Might try that. But yeah, they might have to give me a Mac or something, which is going to be a hoot because I hate Macs. Otherwise, what else? On the way home though, was I bumped into someone I don't really talk to that much because she's a BA and they don't really sit with us. Is she a BA? Yeah, she's a BA, and we have our primary like product owner is someone else, so he's the one that's normally with us. But she's like had some project input on this project. She's like, I really worry. She said to me, I really worry what the state of the meetings will be when you leave, because like you really carry a meeting really well. And I feel like if you weren't there, like no one would drive the meeting and nothing would get done. I'm like, cheers. It was so like out of the blue. It was such a random like input. I'm like, thanks. I'm pretty proud of myself as it happened. Guys, tonight for dinner, I haven't had this for about 5 fucking years, boys. I'm so excited. I can't even put into words. Chicken Kievs. Now, unfortunately, it is the be good to yourself, healthy version, which I'm not too chuffed about, but they didn't have any of the other ones, so I was dead set. Laura's never had chicken Kievs before. I freaking love them. Well, I seem to remember loving them. It's one of the things I used to always have as a kid, and then for some reason stopped having. So I'm like, you know what, we can have a goddamn chicken Kiev. Otherwise, I'm just kind of sat waiting around for Laura. Not being very productive. I think Laura's got a lot of uni work to do this weekend, so at least I can get some work done while she's doing that. Also, Formula 1's on, so just need to, I can watch Formula 1 and all that good stuff. Might watch free practice and whatnot since it's on in late time in evenings, you know, because it's in Canada. Super early morning this morning. I woke up at 2, 2:15 or 2:30 around there. My alarm was set for 2:30, but I woke up before my alarm. It was about 2:15, I think. I was driving Beth and Ben to the airport because they're going on holiday. There's something really exciting about going, like driving to the airport really early in the morning, even if you're not the one that's going, you know. But now it's, I've just got back, it's 5 o'clock. May as well stay up now, innit? Lol, there's no point going back to bed. So I've already like showered and I just need to have a shave. Laura's finally gotten up. I've been doing, I'm making a cup of tea now. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I've done about an hour of programming. I've managed to fix and debug the issues with my long running process thing. It's really cool. You create something in Azure DevOps, and a service hook kicks in, passes it to an Azure function, passes it to my microservice, passes a load of stuff around, goes off, pulls it down, puts it into blob storage. It's fucking swag. It's so cool, and I've just seen it working for the first time. It's one of them things that's like such a long process, and and it's such a pain in the ass to even kick it off that I was just like, right, as much of it as I can. And I just had like these small issues I needed to fix along the way. All Gucci now. So I decided that I'd spend a little bit of time finessing my daily vlog script. So Chris commented that the quality, well, didn't look that great in some scenarios. The problems I've been having with the video content per se is that it was too big. Like the files were huge and you didn't really get much benefit from it. For like 3.5 gigabyte files were insane. So, and they took a long time to render. Compared to the previous files I used to film my old camera, I used to be able to get them to render about 2 times speed. So you could render a 10-minute video in 5 minutes. This camera is really slow and it's not really doing anything either. It's not really like compressing it down. I'm confused as to why that is. But I've been fiddling around with my script a little bit. I'm just pissing about with the, I've got it now doing GPU encoding. I can't figure out GPU decoding yet. I'm working on that. And it's so much quicker. Well, it's like 1.6 times instead of 0.3 times. But the quality was god awful. So I'm running it one more time just to see if I can improve the quality a little bit. But yeah, it was like, and it fell over towards the end as well, so I'm not really sure why it fell over. But yeah, it just went, it was not having any of it, basically. What did it actually do? Was it finished already? My bad, I typoed the what's my do hick. But yeah, so now we're using actual video encode in the GPU instead of on the CPU. So previously my CPU would just be maxed, and it would still be slow because effectively this isn't a multi-threaded process usually. It's a single-threaded process, and my processor's not very good at that. It is good at it, but it's not. I think it's just the heft of these video files. But these video files now are the 2.5K ones, not the 1080p one, which is this is. This will be a test of this when I've got it 1080p. Hopefully the quality is a little bit higher. I've changed the preset settings and activated lossless not quite lossless, but I've like upped it a bit, you know what I mean? According to the documentation, it should be visibly lossless, but not data lossless. We'll see about that. What I'm confused about is the bitrate is so much lower than the original footage. How much lower is that? That is like exceptionally low. I seem to remember looking at the bitrate and thinking it was exceptionally high in here. Yes, it's gone from 60,000 down to 2,000 kilobits. Hang on. Yeah, no kilobits. And that's probably why it looks god awful. Yeah, all the settings are slightly different for the GPU acceleration because you use a different codec. Instead of lib x264, it's like x264 underscore some stuff. And the settings seem to be somewhat different. Well, my fucking GPU seems to have 22 gig of memory. I have such a woefully massively overpowered GPU for how little I do on this goddamn computer. I don't even have any games installed, to be honest, let alone use them, you know. But yeah, we can do 1.8 times at this speed at the very least. I'm just waiting for it to finish the first day so I can have a look at the footage and then we'll see. Well, lol, apparently that video is not supported. Playback for that video ain't supported right now, so something's fucked up there, isn't it, boys? See, look, that is one of my cores doing the decoding, and the GPU is just chilling out doing the encoding. So I need to try and get this into the GPU as well, and then we're set. But I also need to get a working video file that looks okay as well. That's also important. Yeah, also, no. What is this, mate? That is shoddy. I actually lied. The old one does use all the cores, but it slams the processor entirely. I mean, I can do other things at the same time, but... And it just isn't very fast. But I can get 30% use of my GPU, and my computer, it's way quicker, nearly twice as quick, and it's just way more... you know, I'll figure it out. But yeah, I've got to fix the quality issues. I think I've got the wrong settings for the codec. I'm really struggling to get the quality I want out of... Basically, if I use the GPU in any way, shape or form to render or decode this, or encode it, the quality drops like an absolute fucking stone. And to be honest with you, that's probably because effectively what it was doing before was just piecing together raw footage and taking a long time to do it. I just feel like there's got to be some middle ground here, and I can't get there. I can't find this middle ground. Right, I figured out how to do lossless without tanking the CPU. So I'm using the GPU. I figured out how to do lossless settings, so the bitrate is nice and high. What I need to do is go down the tracks. I don't really want to do lossless. But this is better than what I previously had, which was basically lossless, but took ages. This is lossless, really legit lossless, and doesn't take ages. So I'm already winning a little bit, and I'm at 1.4 times speed instead of 0.5 times speed. Such a pain in the ass though. It's just like fiddle, 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 run that, fiddle, 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 run that. Oh no, wait, that still looks god awful. Let's try again. Jesus Christ. I lied to you the last time I spoke to you. I hadn't figured out how to make it lossless. Well, no, I had, but somehow the lossless files were bigger than the original files by a factor of 10. So by activating lossless, I can render it out quicker, and it looks as good as if I render it out on the CPU slowly, but the file size is 22 gigs instead of 2 gigs, and I already think 2 gigs is a bit excessive, so I'm not going to do that. Can't figure it out. Otherwise, yesterday I was pooped. We had dinner early, cooked chili, had it early because Formula 1 was on at 7. Same again tonight, to be honest with you, but we're not cooking it from scratch. In fact, I get it out of the freezer now. And we're having beef and black bean today. Words. Yeah, so watched Formula 1 at 7. It overhung a little bit because they red flagged the session. And then I had a shave because I felt like a scruffy son of a bitch yesterday. And so, because I didn't have a shave at 2 o'clock, because obviously yesterday, for context, I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I think you know that, I think I told you that. But yeah, so I had a shave and then went got my pajamas on, and then watched Planet Earth with Laura, which basically meant falling asleep on Laura for an hour, having an hour nap, and then waking up again. And then it was bedtime. So I was knackered yesterday. I was basically doing my sleeping pattern without my sleeping pattern. I was just waking up at 2 with like maybe 3 hours sleep, pushing it. I've had, on the consequence of that, a big lie-in today, which means a slow start to the day, because I had to watch Andrew Marr have breakfast, lie-in. I'm going to start doing some work now. It is time to start worrying about updates. So I've got creates working fine, I just need to do updates now. And as part of this, I need to figure out what happens if it's updated but it doesn't update. If that makes sense. I need to figure out the workflow for that. It's quite complicated. On my laptop, I'm working on a way of observing mass transit errors and then doing different retry logic based on what kind of error it is. Because there might be some scenarios where I want to retry something, slowly retry something, waiting for something to happen, but it might never happen. So at one point, back off, and instead of throwing an exception, raise another event in order to kick something else off. And I feel like I need to do something like that for the updates, because that's somewhat possible. I feel like I'm about to get a nosebleed. This is like a really weird part where I've got to like cover off. I'm trying to cover off as few edge cases as possible, but there's just a lot of cases and they're not all edge. There's just loads of them. And I'm trying to cover off I'm trying to be really selective over the ones I actually care about. But some of them are like legitimate issues that I'm going to need to fix at some point. And I'm trying to like document the ones that I don't want to fix yet. So I'm not looking at abandoned requests yet, which I will need to do. But I definitely need to do updates, because that means it'll be a lot easier for me to test it, because I don't have to create and then close a pull request every single time I want to test something. Yeah, that's my plan of attack for today. Hoping to be productive, because I wasn't very productive yesterday, I'm not gonna lie. The area that I'm in at the moment is like I'm doing the same thing that I did before, more or less. So it's like the first time it's the initial time through, and then it's like every reoccurring time. I've done some sweet ass shit to reuse some code around there as well, because it's a bit of a pain in the ass the way that I've set up my the commands, CQRS commands, they kick back a lot of information to whatever called them to be like, this is what happened, this is the exact state I was in, why it won't work. So they'll throw information back like, this couldn't be found, this is in the correct state, couldn't be found, this is badly configured, blah, 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 so that the caller can figure out whether or not they need to do something about it. And it's pretty useful. They usually be narrowed down to HTTP status codes. It's a bit like kicking back a not found or an unprocessable entity or forbidden, that kind of shit. But it's really useful for when you are trying to kick back that amount of information out to a web API, but a lot of it's hidden back in the domain. It's really nice. But anyway, it's a pain in the ass because I've done that. I can't really set up many private methods, because at any given point, if something fails, it needs to kick back an error. But if it's successful, then I don't want to kick back an error. So I've got some good refactoring to make that work. I know what I'm saying, that makes sense to me. Otherwise, watch Formula 1. Somewhat boring race. It was a good race, and then there was a fucking tasty ass bit of drams between my boy and not my boy, Vettel. Which is pretty fun. I'm just enjoying my time reading Twitter, and everyone is fuming. So that's always great fun. Also, since dinner, I just wanted just something to eat, you know, just wanted to snack on something. I'm trying to stop myself. Trying to stop myself from just like. Also, that's why the mics favour the back, because my hand is like shielding it from the front. I just feel a little bit peckish, you know. Just like a little bit peckish. So I'm going to go to bed before I eat anything else. I was arguing with Laura in a bad dream last night, and I woke up from the bad dream and was annoyed at the fact that she'd fallen asleep during our argument. And it was all a dream. So I also feel like I've tweaked my back a little bit. As my alarm went off this morning, I rolled over to turn the alarm off and nearly fell out of bed, because I was like already on the edge of the bed, facing the wrong way. And I think catching myself has tweaked my back. So that's you know, you're getting old, isn't it? It's raining, but my camera's waterproof, so it don't goddamn matter. Oh yeah. Also, I got my VM up and running today, which I'm a bit gutted about. I mean, it took me all day.
with 3 other people's inputs, but no one's ever got it running on a Windows machine before. And I was kind of hoping that getting it running on a Windows machine would be so difficult that it wouldn't be worth my time. Unfortunately, it was worth my time and it works now. So, god damn it. I was like, oh well, if I can't get it running, I can't do any work for the next couple of weeks, you know? But also, I had a stonking nosebleed today. I was talking to someone about mass transit. Last time I spoke to him about mass transit, I got a nosebleed. This time I got a nosebleed as well. So there's a bit of a coincidence there, but I've never had a nosebleed that big before. It bled shitloads for ages. But thankfully it's stopped now, touch wood, fingers crossed. Let's get home. Get pizza tonight because Laura's finished her last uni exam for the year. Woohoo! So we're gonna get Domino's to celebrate. And I think that calls it for a day, ladies and gentlemen. It's about bedtime. We've had a lovely evening off. We had some pizza, which we had to go pick up because it was raining, which wasn't fun. We had Sainsbury's delivery, came to us, so we didn't have to go out and get that. And then we played Mario. We were gonna watch Black Mirror, but we watched Startup instead. Startup's great. But I'm gonna end the video now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this video. We will start a new video tomorrow, and I will catch you later.